Oh shit!
Come on.
I like that song so much I didn't want it to end. Let's
Right.
go. Sippin with Serpents, episode 7. We got that killer intro Justin made. Everybody give it up for Justin in the comments with Pressure Pythons. The special, most awesomest choochie in the world. We got Dale backstage with the Hogfather. It's a hognose dude. We don't get many of them. We're going to bring him up.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah,
What's
me
up,
too,
Dale?
man. What's up, man? Dale, the Hogfather. Yeah, we'll get into the questions here in a second. We'll go ahead and blast through the chat. It ain't much. We got Tyson. What's up, my dude?
Tyson. Duval.
Ball, what's up, buddy? Shauna, thanks for coming. Glad to see you.
Shauna.
As always.
James.
James, what's up? Let me know how that thing goes. You got ordered. What up, Mark? Brotherhood. Good to see you. Barry. Always good to see you. If y'all ain't following him, go to Instagram and hit him up. Cool dude, for sure.
Oh.
Thank you for coming, sweetheart. Good to see you.
There's my girl.
What up, brah?
Josh.
Having a call in the house. Brave.
What's up,
That's
Brave?
Brave. I got to do something special for Brave. I might send him some swag.
You know, he's on every one. Every show that we have. There is not an episode.
DM me on IG. I got you. I got you a little something. You're an awesome.
Definitely got to get him something for sure. Got called.
What up, Carl? This is my dude right here. Went and got beer. Took the night off for this occasion. So it's good to see you, Sashmo. Hope I'm saying that right.
Right, it's Sashmos.
Yeah, Sashmos. That's what I think. Yeah. What up, Sammy? Good
to see you.
The Pink Panther. All right, Ken. We're gonna do it for him. Take it faster.
Faster.
We got Mark in the house. What's up, big rat? Oh, look, he's already starting it off. Here we go. Here we go. Here's to you, man. What's up, Mission? Good to see you. You sipping some Ritas?
You like that salt? I'm not too big on the salt with my drinks.
Yeah, everybody out in the comments, if you're drinking tonight, let me know what you're drinking down there. Come on. We're going to get into some questions from my boy, Dale. What's up, Dale? I'm glad you made it tonight, man.
Just chilling.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and tell everybody, where you're at and introduce yourself, your best business spiel, I guess, and let us know what got you into hognose,
So I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. And it was actually real crazy what got me into hognoses because I've been keeping reptiles, amphibians, and everything for decades. And I had just came across hognose snakes, and I had never really seen them before, let alone all the morphs. So I'm looking at like super yetis and leucistics, and I'm like, holy shit, what the hell? Like, I was tripped out by these at first. Like, I saw this leucistic picture on this one dude's hand all curled up, and I wasn't sure if that was real or not. I'm like, is this AI shit, or did this thing just come out of Harry Potter's asshole? Like, what is this? and so I'm looking at it, and then I looked how much that shit cost. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this shit was expensive. And then I'm seeing that there's a ton of people buying them and everything. And my daughter, who is in college right now, she just had come up to me and was like as I just found out about the hognoses, as I'm seeing their price points, she comes up and hits me with the tuitions due again for the semester. And I'm like, what the, like, you got a full scholarship. How the hell does this shit cost me money still?
Right.
So I'm kind of looking at these snakes, looking at the price points, and I'm like, hey, you know what? Would you want to do like a little business with me? Let's breed some snakes and let's use this money towards your college. And it's something we could do together, go to expos and stuff. And, and everything that we sell, like all the, I just need to make back whatever I invest into it. And then anything on top of that, that's all going to go to school for you.
Come on.
She's wanting to be a surgeon, and that medical school is going to be expensive as shit. So, I mean,
you better start selling some
pay for the classes, but it don't pay for the books. You know?
Every semester.
Daughter, that's very ambitious.
Them books ain't cheap. Not
at all. So I'm like, this would be fun. Something we could do together. Something that she'll never forget, and it's something we can do that's fun. It's not going to feel like work. It's going to be fun.
Come on.
So that's what basically drawed you into the hognose breeding that species because it holds value extremely well.
Value that was there, just the look, even because I was really getting into the look. So like the leucistic and the Yetis, the super Yetis, I was all about it. And so I started buying some things to like do a project that's gonna take like 2 or 3 generations to make. And I'm like getting way behind on shit. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep buying more and more. And so next thing I know, I got like 17, 18 hog noses.
Hey, it happens fast, dude. So how long have you
within a year, I started finding out about these things and got into it at the end of 2023.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
And you've already, and like we were talking backstage, you've already got a name for yourself. I mean, the motto, show your shirt off. Go ahead and show your shirt off so everybody can see. I mean, come on. That is like, and even the little, whatever the sticks or whatever in the hand is hognose snakes.
That's
like
right.
The whole imagery,
the city line, the skyline that I put on all the logos, they're all Salt Lake City.
Oh, awesome. That's sweet. That's sweet.
Yeah, that's badass. And, that's the thing, like your business model about it, the way that you're marketing it is, like we were saying, to me, that's like 85, 90%, honestly, of the battle. And when people get Hogfather, you don't forget the name because it's so clever. You know what I mean? So it's very catchy. So you said I got
a ton of merch. I got to make me a website for my merch, but I got a ton of
merch. For sure, yeah.
You definitely do.
If people want merch, what do? Just DM you on Instagram?
Well, so right now I'm just selling it exclusively at the expos.
Okay.
I'll be. I'm gonna set up something on like Printify or something like that.
That's what we do. Printify is dope, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's nice because they can go to your own shop and see all the mugs, like coffee mugs and all that shit too. Like, I'll tell you what, you do it. I'll definitely be one of your first customers over there.
For sure. Yeah. The shirts are dope, bro.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And that's the thing about Printify. You don't have to buy. Because I used to play in bands my whole life, and we'd order merch from like Terminus Tees and shit like that, and like band shirts, and you have to buy 1 box of smalls, like boxes, 1 box of large, 1 box of every size, and then you have to have all that money up front, and it's very expensive. And then if you don't sell it, you don't sell it. You know what I mean?
Right. I like with
Printify, it's made to order.
Exactly.
And that's what I like about it. Yeah, for sure. But hell yeah. So what is some of the favorite morphs that you work with? And what are some of your favorite morphs that you might not have yet or have not worked with?
So some of the ones that I'm working with that I really like so far is the lemon ghost. And not a lot of people like have lemon ghosts, and like the high percentage lemon ghosts, like they're real yellow.
The real yellow. The real yellow.
Yeah, I can show you one right now.
Actually, they're like lemon.
Hey, we are never going to tell you don't pull a snake out. You feel me? I'm going to go ahead and blow you up real quick, too. That way.
You are speaking my language. Look at it. That thing is gorgeous. Come on. Look at the belly.
Oh, I know. The bellies on them are so cool, right?
Yeah, that's what intrigues me the most, because it will look one color, and when you flip that belly over, it's completely something different.
I know, dude. But, so you said that's a lemon what?
The lemon ghost. So this one's a red lemon ghost. It's got like 25% red, 75% lemon ghost. So it's like really yellow. But like the lighting here is not allowing it. But if you go to like my Instagrams and TikTok, like you can see how yellow it is. He's actually kind of pale too because he's going to shed soon.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I hope everybody that's watching this definitely goes to your Instagram because he's got some pretty sweet stuff. I mean, it looks good on camera, but I understand what you mean. I mean, like the yellow snakes I got and the bamboo stuff, like anything lighter, lesser and stuff, it never really shows up good for me.
This one's
it looks like more like a 55 you got there.
What's that?
That bin you have? Is that kind of, well, and
this is the Super 70.
Okay.
Oh no. This is the VE. This is the VE. Sorry, no, it's not the 70. The 70s are up above. Sorry. This one's the VE2.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
ARS. So I think that I consider that more like the 55 series is what I consider. I wouldn't say that's more 50 because it's a little bit wider. I mean, it's kind of the length of the 50, but
Here's my Exanthic Super Conda. So the Super Conda is no
Oh,
pattern,
Oh yeah.
and then she's got the black belly, but she's also about to shed. You can tell.
Look at that, bro. Look
So that's
at
a
that.
super
That is
conda.
neat.
Yeah, the Super Conda is a dominant gene. They called it Anaconda because the first when you first get the gene in the snake, one set is like just a
Very
reduced pattern,
spotty.
and then yes, it's this reduced pattern.
Yep.
Spotty, and then once you double up on that and make a Super Conda, then there's no pattern at all, just the head pattern.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
That is cool because I got some condos over here, so it's nice to know like when I pair and do make the super condos, that's what I'm gonna look like pretty much.
Oh yeah,
That's
dude, the Super
crazy.
Conda.
And is that like a good standard tub for an adult? I noticed they don't get really that big, So I mean,
that's a good standard for an adult male. A female, you'd want to go a little bit bigger, so that's why I got the 70 series up there.
okay.
So I got 3 adults in there, 3 adult females that are pregnant, and I should have some eggs pretty soon. But the VE2s, the VE6, those tubs are perfect for an adult male.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay. Because that's what I was wondering. Because I have the V35 Vision tubs,
Oh yeah, those would be good for the females too.
like a male.
But yeah, I think the male and female would work in that one because that one is how deep is that one?
I mean, they're not really.
Oh, okay, no, that would want to you do a
They're
male.
not really that big.
You
Small.
do a male. So you need more link. That's what I said. Like
Yeah.
like the 55s. Like these are my 55s, and they're really long. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I feel like a 55 would be for adult for me. Like
So that's a good female size adult.
Yeah, you could do a male in that one, but yeah, the females you definitely want to have more length on that.
You know, yeah.
Okay. That's good to know because, like I said, and that's why later in the show, y'all, Justin's going to take this over because he's got a little surprise over there in his shed many people might not know about, but, he's got some hoggies, so he's going to.
They're not mine. They're my partners, but yes, they're both, my partners.
Yeah, but eventually you're going to be like, okay, I'm about to buy a rack and I'm about to buy some hog noses and we're fixing to do this.
That's what he's doing for us. We're running together. Watching some crazy. I want to see some really cool shit out of it.
And that's what it's all about, right?
Dale said,
helping your friends
like
out.
the colors to me is like it's insane. Like some of the colors of these, like I do ball pythons and I see plenty of really, really great expressions out of ball pythons. But some of the expressions out of hognose and what they do, it's literally blows your mind.
Well, like that Super Arctic. The Super Arctic does some crazy shit.
Yes.
That changes the pattern up. That does like some real cool shit to the pattern. It'll reduce the pattern too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Reduce it, or it can even like make more.
Yep.
So I guess that answer. I mean, we're kind of answering the questions. I guess the hognose genetics compare to the ball python genetics. I guess that's what it is.
Well, I think ball python genetics. It's been going on for so long. There's way more genetics in ball pythons just for the amount of time that it's been in the trade. Hognoses, there's still new ones coming out. And there's still some that are crazy expensive, like that Swiss chocolate.
Oh, yeah, that
sounds yummy.
Yeah, I know, right? I always call them flavors. I don't even call them genes. I call them flavors.
Well, that caramel Swiss chocolate there, buddy.
Dude, that sounds like a cake. I want 2 of them.
I mean, it's like the toffee belly. You're like, well, I'm gonna have me some coffee,
Yeah.
Oh god.
So that's kind of like next in the segue. What are some newer morphs or combos that you're really excited about, like seeing in the future, not just for yourself, but for the hognose game? You know what I mean?
There's a new one called Cinnamon, and I want to see what else happens with that. And there's a gene called the caramel gene, the one that when you put it with hypo, it makes frosted, which gets rid of or reduces the head pattern. So one thing I want to start doing is I have one that's one snake that's permafrost, het permafrost, and then I have a female that's hypo, het caramel. I have a male that's caramel, het hypo. So I want to start doing some frosted genes into the super condas and have different genetics with no pattern and no head pattern.
Oh, that'd be cool. So you're trying to get that solid color more or less.
Yeah, kind of like how the leucistic is,
Right.
but have like a whole row of flavors.
What was that one that we just saw recently? There's a guy that created it, and it was almost all orange, but it had that blushing, but it was all no pattern. And I've seen it all over Instagram. I was like, see that?
I
that
think that one was the sunburst, where even with the
might have
pattern,
been.
it's hard to see. It's like really hard to see the pattern on those but I think he had a lot of them that were super condas, and the ones that were conda, I mean that super arctic that's in that that's part of that, like really makes that orange pop out to where you can't really see much of anything else.
Anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
So what's up with a super conda het toffee het xanthic? You mess with any of those, like a lot, the xanthic or the?
So actually, I have I've made one baby last year with my female who is she's an extreme red toffee belly, conda, and
Cool.
The male I paired her with was a purple line and was a conda het for xanthic and for albino. So the baby that I did make, she's purple line extreme red with het for toffee belly, xanthic, and albino.
Who did you get your extreme red from?
It was from Gecko's.
Because not many people. Well, some people call it extreme red, and then there's another word for it too.
Well, there's a few different series of reds. There's Raging Red. There's Raging Red. There's
Raging Red is another one.
Phoenix. I think there's a Phoenix one, and then there's the Extreme Red. The one that I have that I bought from Gecko's it's a red / extreme red toffee conda.
Okay.
So the red is really, really red.
Red.
Then the toffee conda really makes the scales in between the saddles like really pop out yellow orange.
That's cool.
She's in her prelay shed right now. Let me pull her out.
I was gonna say, when you said the red, I was like, I've been learning that you got to be kind of specific with the red lately. Is from what I'm learning, because some of it's line bred and some of it is a different trait.
Look, he's got the old school step stool ladder going vertical, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's old school. That's that old school coming out.
So she is in her prelay shed right now.
Oh wow!
That's wicked.
You know that's so bright in person, bro.
That is wicked.
I mean, the camera still isn't even doing her justice.
Yeah.
So is that considered the anaconda pattern?
Yes.
That is. I was because I have some condos, or we have some condos over here, so I definitely say that's the pattern in it for sure.
Yeah, that's an anaconda pattern. I'll show you my.
Yeah, that red, bro. That's what I was saying. That's what makes me want to get it, because red snakes are cool as hell. It's like a solid black snake or solid white snake. The red and hognoses and most colubrids in general.
Red.
It's red, bro. Like, yeah, it's red.
I'm a king snake that I can tell you the red in that thing, my mosaic. Oh my gosh, bro. It'll blow your mind in the red in it.
So this is a tribulation. It's a albino Arctic anaconda, and she's het for sable.
God, it's blowed out, man.
That is, and she's a big girl too.
She's loaded, ain't she? Is she loaded up?
She had her prelay shed 3 days ago.
So that's what you look for, just like with a python, is the bulging of the body and the scale separation and stuff. Is that the same with a hognose? Is that what you notice when they're about ready to, they're ovulating or when they're having eggs? Or
their whole bottom half will swell up when they're ovulating.
I'd say I think you could damn near see the eggs in them. Correct?
On her, for sure, you can. Like,
yeah,
her eggs.
What up, Platinum? What up, Mariah? Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Hope y'all enjoy.
That's kind of what I kind of want to know is like more your breeding process, Dale, is like, I know kind of right now. So I guess you're doing the brewmating right now. So when you brewmate them and you pull them out of brewmating, when are you pairing them? When are you pulling them apart? And when are you kind of knowing?
So I did half. So the 3 snakes that are pregnant right now, I had one that I put in brumation, and then the other 2, I just put them with the males and let nature kind of bring out the ovulation.
ovulation.
Yeah, so with them being with the males constantly and then locking up and pairing constantly, it did put them into ovulation.
Okay, that was my question, because that's kind of what we've been doing over here, is kind of just like, we had one female actually lay a partho clutch. We never paired her. She laid a partho clutch. She got egg bound. Took her to the vet. My vet got her off, got the eggs out of her that got egg bound, and then we gave her antibiotics and stuff. And we're like, and then I talked to the vet, and he's like, you could probably pair her and probably hit a clutch with her because she's already laid a partho. He's like, I'm not too sure on the beginning of breeding, but he's like, that's kind of my thought process. And I was like, all right, well, I've kind of thought about it and I haven't done it, but I'm wondering, could I put the male in there before she would maybe possibly lay a double clutch, and would they get fertilized and would they hit, you know?
I would say it most likely could. I mean, I don't think that because if she hasn't been with a male, then she's just going to spit out another bunch of slugs.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty
So if you get her to pair, I mean, yeah, get that lock and yeah, get some fertilization going.
That's my question with locks. So how long are you leaving the male in there when you're doing this process without doing the brumation? Are you leaving them in there for weeks and then pulling them just for
months.
feeding? And
I
then
left them in there for
back in there? Months.
Yeah, like 2 months. And it was like I was taking them out every now and then, like during feedings and stuff. But sometimes during the feedings, if I could get them each to take one right then and there, and they're both busy eating and they both swallow it, like I'll sit there and watch them, then we're good. I didn't have to
do it.
Part. Yeah, I didn't have to take
them. I mean, it makes sense, because they are like, when you throw the rat in there, like they'll do that little head to the side, and you could just give it to them damn near, and they'll take it, you know. So it makes sense.
These people that are growing, like they attack the food, like they lunge at it, like they've been starving, and it's like only been 3 days. I'm like,
they're good eaters. They're fairly good eaters, because I know some people, I think, that have hognoses, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I don't know a lot about them, but I thought I've heard from people that they like toads. Like some people have to buy frog juice and put it on a mouse. And
okay, so in the wild, they don't normally eat mammals. So like chasing and going after mice is not part of their normal instincts.
What up, Zach, bro?
So they normally are like digging, you know, that's why they got the hognose. They got that little shovel nose that they're digging around, and they'll come across toads, they'll come across frogs, voles maybe. You know, voles are a mammal they'll probably eat, but like as they're digging around to come across these, that's what they're eating. Yep. And toads are like the main source of their diet. They even have like the rear fangs that will pop a toad. So
well, I was going to say, yeah, pop the air out of it, yeah.
Yep.
On one of my earlier posts on Instagram, that red toffee conda that I showed you, I have a video of her eating the toad, but like you can hear the pop where she pops the toad.
That's interesting.
Because the toads, they inflate themselves with air. That's part of their defense, right?
So you do have to feed. Do you
You
notice?
no, you don't have to. But like the baby snakes are.
That's why I was asking. Yeah.
Like, you know, they're smelling this pinky mouse, and they've never, like, that's not instincts for them to attack it.
Exactly. So have you had to use the frog juice, like the Josh Frog's frog juice? Or
I haven't used any of that juice. I've actually had frogs that I just kind of
rub it on it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And that works pretty good for you to do that
with the frogs that you have. So would you just have an aquarium with toads in them and frogs, or?
So I had an aquarium with toads at the time, and all those toads are gone. I have another aquarium set up right now.
Interesting, Josh.
And froglets right now, and those froglets and and then some of the tadpoles will be toads. I'll separate those out, and then I'll have some good meals for the snakes as they're growing up.
So it seems like that's probably a smart thing, because I've heard that from other
BBC
as well, with the toads to do that. You know, is what I've also heard. You know, it's a big thing to do. And I've also heard, I don't know if you've heard this, Dale, but I've heard from older guys that naturally in the wild, the hognose won't typically double clutch, but because we fuck with their genealogy by feeding them mice, and mice multiply, this is why they're double clutching in captivity for us.
I haven't heard that. I mean,
and I was going to ask a question about
GMOs, because that sounds like some GMO shit.
Well, I was going to ask a question about the mice too. Because I've heard that the venom, or I don't want to say venom, but it is at the end of the day a venom, because they are rear-fanged venomous snakes. So I've heard that feeding them mammals throughout the time that we've been breeding them and keeping them as pets and this goes with every colubrid or anything like, and hognose are a colubrid. I don't want to sound stupid. Is that correct?
Yeah, they are.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So every colubrid, yeah. But I'm saying after feeding them, most colubrids don't eat rodents. Most colubrids will eat fish, other snakes, stuff like that. So over the time of us feeding them mammals, have y'all heard that myth that the venom in these animals is getting a little bit more potent, and that, like, you know, it could be worse than it normally would be? Have you heard that one?
I would say it would be less, not worse. Yeah, I would say it would be less if you want my opinion. It's
if somebody can actually test the strength of the venom on a wild caught one and then a bred one.
That'd be nice to know. I would definitely like to know.
Well, I mean, as far as the question, I guess it wasn't just, I heard it in like colubrids. I think it was rat snakes or something, maybe, that they are mildly venomous to begin with, but so mild that I guess it wouldn't really hurt you. But basically what it was is us feeding them rodents has made it more potent or toxic or what the fuck ever. I don't really know.
I would think that in the wild they would get more toxic just because, like, the toads excrete a toxin. And so as the snakes would eat that, but like, because like dart frogs,
dart frogs.
Yeah, in captivity they're not poisonous at all because they're not eating those ants that excrete that poison that then come out of their body and then make them poisonous shit.
I was gonna say, you know, toads, bro. Like, you have some toads that do excrete that
toxin.
I would say venom, but it's like a poison off their back, you know, and whatnot. You know,
DMT, man. They excrete DMT.
Well, that's in another country. I'm talking about still today, like still the other toads we have here. You know, like you do have toads that have like nasty shit. The
Sonoran desert toad. It's that one, and they eat that.
And you made a good point. It is good to breed your own frogs if you can, or have at least a collection.
I'll buy 50. I'll buy 50 tadpoles at a time.
Yeah, my buddy, he does geckos because he does lychees.
Okay,
and lychees love to eat geckos, so he breeds some little geckos.
In this terrarium above my what's it? Oh my god, I can't even think of the word. Anyways, that terrarium right there on the corner next to that step stool, that is full of morning geckos.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I'm also going to do morning geckos, feeding those to the babies as well as the froglets and toadlets. And then I got some quail chicks in the freezer as well as the...
So will they eat the morning geckos like naturally as well too?
I'm going to find out when I get some babies.
I believe they would. I think it's any amphibian, toad, or anything like that.
Yeah, like anoles, geckos, toads, frogs, anything that gives off that scent is going to trigger their instincts.
And who was it? Somebody had a good right here. They start them off with salmon strips and feeder goldfish. I don't know if that's a good piece of advice too.
I've tried guppies. I've tried guppies too. They did not want the guppy, but I have heard about salmon and tuna fish working really good.
So I guess it's that fishy scent. They like that swampy smell, fishy smell.
Even using tuna fish scent and like salmon scent on them peaky, I've heard of that working as well.
So you use like the tuna, lemon pepper, the jalapeno cheddar, stuff like that.
Whatever your snake is feeling that day, you gotta.
If it's feeling spicy, give it the jalapeno.
Like, what I'm kind of learning though with these hognoses, it seems like the main trick with these hognoses is the babies to getting them to eat, and once you get them to eat, it's a normal, it's an okay pattern. But that seems like what the big trick is, like, because you can have 20 babies real quick, and like I know with the ball python world, it's not easy when you have a shit ton of babies. You know, you could have yourself in a sticky situation and be sitting here every day busting your ass. You know.
Yeah, that's why I'm only going to be breeding mine like a few at a time.
Because that's what I'm just now learning all this. Like, you're kind of blowing my mind, kind of teaching me that. I'm like, well, seems like in my head, I need to start breeding some frogs. Like,
and that's what I was saying.
Morning geckos growing out.
Yeah,
for sure. That's what I was saying. My buddy Mike, he does the little house geckos you get that are clear in the south. That
little house geckos.
They're outside everywhere. The little ones. Well, he breeds those to feed to his lychees because it's like. He breeds roaches for his other stuff. And it's like if you can breed a frog or a lizard or something as a feeder, because you're not going to be able to buy that, people. I mean, you're not going to be able – I mean, you can, but for the most part, unless you live in a state like Florida or somewhere where there's these pet shops for reptiles specifically, you're not going to be able to find a feeder frog. So it is a good idea, just with ball pythons, that we've talked before. It's really good to try to breed the prey that goes with the animal if you can. Like, I know not everybody wants to breed smelly ass crickets.
Dude, I was trying to do mice. I was trying to breed mice, and but man, they smell. They smell so
Well, that's
bad.
a good topic. So what do? You do frozen thawed, or you go to a?
Yeah, I've been buying frozen thawed through Rodent Pro.
Great company.
Yeah, so I just buy it through them, and then get frozen, and then not have to worry about doing them live, because I realized by doing them how long that process takes for the mouse to get re-pregnant again and then have babies again. So you're just like, I would have to have like a whole wall of just mice breeding in order to get what I needed.
Oh yeah, dude, that's my thing. Is I started breeding rats, maybe it ain't even been a year yet, and I've bred ball pythons for a long time, long enough to where I should have did it long ago. But I'm realizing that too, man, for sure. Like, I got to go pick up a load of rats this coming Saturday because I can't supply the number that I need until I hold back some. And to be able to hold back some, you have to wait and wait, because I think it takes for a rat, what is it, like 2 or 3 weeks or something, 5 weeks. Yeah, and you have to have a wall. Yeah, and before you know it, then that's another. But I have learned, because I did Rodent Pro for 8 years, 9 years, before I started breeding my own rodents. And I will say, breeding your own rodents is so much cheaper, bro. Like, but it depends on the volume, of course. But I was probably spending, at my height, $2,000 a month on rodents.
$2,000 a month? Oh my gosh.
That's what I'm saying.
Mice are cheap as hell too. Like, when you buy those frozen, like, a lot of people, you can get good deal. I have noticed, like, compared to what me and you were fucking with, Nick, with no reach in the ASFs, they can get pricey.
They can, yeah.
They kind of stay down that lower end margin no matter what. Like, it's kind of that has, because his, like I said, his hognose collection's here. So we were kind of breaking it down, and I'm breeding some mice for them as well. But I was like, look, we're not doing too many mice colonies because they do stink. I'm an ASF guy. So, like, the mice, I agree 100. They stank. They're nasty, So I am breeding some, but I'm like, look, there's going to be times where we're still going to have to have frozen. So he's like, oh, I got a guy for that. We're just going to do frozen, But it's, like I said, they're not super expensive. They're not going to rip your head off over mice, which is kind of nice.
Well, the mice you can get away with, like from Rodent Pro, you can get a bag of 100 mice, which I'm sure the medium mice would feed a hognose pretty good, right? You give them 2 medium mouses, feeding the big female, they're good, right?
Yeah,
so
a medium
you can get a bag of those for like $30.
I said medium mouse
is like a bag of 10. Well, a bag of 10 medium Norwegians from Rodent Pro is like, let's say, $50, $40. You know what I'm saying? And you can get the discounts. Like, if you go to Nerds Videos, Kevin McCurley always has a discount code for all of y'all. Make sure if y'all do go to Rodent Pro, go to there. And I think Chandler does Cold Blooded Cafe. So there are a bunch of discount codes out there, and that's what I did. I did that shit every time. I would get those discount codes, but for me, it was a lot of bulk. Like, I'd get like 2 big ass boxes of Rodent Pro, and it would fill up a freezer, like a refrigerator freezer.
Funny story. Yesterday, I just bought a little freezer chest, a little freezer, like 2.5 foot by 1.5 foot, 30-inch tall little freezer chest. Because, I mean, it's kind of, I don't want people opening up my freezer and then seeing bags of mice and shit.
Well, I have rats, pizza, ice cream, mice, quail.
Yeah.
Tostitos, pizza rolls.
Yeah. I'll be like, hey, here's your salmon.
The life of a snake breeder.
Under the bag of quails.
My mom did one day. She came over here and opened up the garage freezer, and she's like, "Why do you got? Is that cocoa?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's cocoa shit. I freeze it, mom."
Substrate. No, that's a smart thing to do too. So, what do you use for a hognose? You use cocoa fiber, like or cocoa?
So, there's the wood chips, the wood shavings, the aspen wood. But I I'm only doing that maybe like with 40% of mine. I'm doing a lot of like bioactive.
That's
So
awesome, bro.
I
That's
have
awesome.
I'm doing organic topsoil with play sand, and then a little bit of excavator sand, and then mixing that together. Uh, and the hognoses love that. Like
You do the springtails, the
Really?
isopods, and everything as well.
in some of them I'll do with all that, but because they like it more dry. If there's a snake that likes to play in the water, then I'll do the isopods and springtails because then they'll stay alive. But for the most part, when they're just like, they like to stay dry, they're in the dry side, they don't play with the water much and splash around, then the bugs all end up dying.
Well,
So
I'll hook you up with an isopod, dude. I know he's got
dude, I was
isopods
gonna
from
tell you,
like
so
arid
this
species.
this enclosure right here, that's my shit tank. So when I'm cleaning out their tanks, I'm throwing shit in there, and I got dirt piled up 4 inches high, and I got 3 different kinds of isopods in there eating
Oh,
shit.
hell yeah.
Breeding, bro.
Hell yeah.
Breeding.
Let's go.
And they breed very good. Like,
So the last expo I went to, I actually brought isopods with me because I have so many of them. And
That's money. They sell.
I was
good thing to
selling
have on the table, extra. And we talk about
right,
that
right.
a lot.
It's like people look for them, they need them, and I was looking online at the price points, and I was beating the prices to so people would want to buy mine.
And
Because
that's
you're at
what I
Expo,
did.
if people are paying to get into Expo, you might give them a better deal.
Oh, I'm gonna beat everybody's price. Come on.
But I was giving them away more than I was selling them, me personally, because
Oh man, I was
see a kid walk by, but I had 1,000 of them, and they were breeding, so it was probably 10,000 isopods. And you know how people will have little trays of 10, little deli cups of 10 in there, exactly 10, bro. I would be charging like $5 for 25, 30, 40. However, I would just scoop them up, and kids would come up, and their mom wouldn't let them have a snake, right? Of course not. They're little. So I'd be like, here.
Want some roly polies?
These bugs or roly polies. And the parents would let them have them. And I thought that was cool, and it's fun. Isopods, what are you losing? Like even if you're giving them away, it's a good thing to have at the table. It's a good talking point, and the variety is there. And that's what's going to keep people at your table.
Listen, if we all three got a watermelon stand, I'm beating y'all two on price.
What up, Casey? Beat my prices. That's what I'm saying, though. And with the isopods, you can beat people out. But there goes another way. My dad's a master plumber, right? And he tried to charge somebody really cheap because they were older, trying to be nice, and they thought he didn't know what he was talking about. So they paid the $1,000, $2,000 more for somebody else to do it when he was just trying to be cool. And you go through that too, I've noticed, because I've had people come up to me and be like, "Well, why are you so cheap?" And I'm like, because I don't really give a shit. Like, I'm not losing money.
Right.
I paid $10 for 1,000 isopods on eBay, bro. And they got shipped to my post office.
You can always trick the masses and have them buy raffle tickets for $1.
Oh, we do raffle all the time, bro.
Yeah.
Look, hang on.
Actually, I was saying that's actually Nick's little inch. Like he was telling me not that long ago, like his little thing at his table, he'll do a little raffle. And it brings
I do raffle every show, bro, and I sell tickets
money to the table and shit.
What I do is I do a setup. I do like a baby shoebox setup with the heat tape, the water bowl, and the snake. And then if you buy a shirt, if you buy anything from me, like if you buy a shirt for $25, you get 20 fucking tickets, bro. And then I write your number, I give you a number, and then I put the number on there. I put it in my Medusa. I got this big Medusa vase.
See, that's the selling point. You're like 25.
Selling point is if your booth like yours, that's what gets people there. I have a big coffin chalkboard where I write everything, the numbers and how it all works, and that's what brings people in. And they say, "Oh, it's only $1 or $5 a ticket if you don't buy anything." And then I'm like, "Yeah, dude, no doubt." And they'll buy fucking $25 worth, and it usually ends up the person that buys one ticket wins, which is cool as hell.
Right.
Then they walk away with it.
For that shirt, they get nothing.
The last one I did, I sold raffle tickets, right? I made $1,005 on raffle tickets, bro. And then I still sold snakes, but I made more money doing this than anything I've done at a show.
It's I'm saying that selling point is like where you're like $20, you get 20 tickets. Like Well, that's a no-brainer, bro. I'm about to spend $60 and have 60 tickets. What's the first guy gonna only spend 20 or 10?
Yeah, and you put a normal
It's
baby.
like it's really like a trickery type deal, you know. Like some people are like,
it's a raffle.
"Damn, I $20. I'm about to have a shit ton in there." Dude probably only spent $5, you know.
I had a dude give me $100 bill for 100 tickets, and I had to sit there, and I kind of regretted it doing the dollar. And then I went to $5 because that's kind of more reasonable. But yeah, I was counting out 100 of those tickets. I had to write his number, because what I do, I get a book, I write their name, their phone number, and then I give them a number. So instead of writing their fucking name and phone number on every ticket, I'll write 1111222, so on and so forth.
You know what you could do to shorten that? If they bought that many, put just a sequence of starting at this number, ending at this number, because it just goes in sequence.
Oh, right. Yeah. But that's really confusing for somebody like me.
Oh,
it's a lot more numbers than a singular number.
Right.
But yeah, and the people, and usually it's always the people that don't really have a lot of money, but they want a snake. And if they have $20, who's not going to spend $20
on a raffle,
on a chance to win? And usually it's not a normal. Usually it'll be like a pinstripe or a pastel, a pretty snake, but it's basically you just got all that for $20, everything but a thermostat. And really, you don't need a thermostat because it's a Zoom Ed heat pad. It's not really going to it's a little one. It's not really going to get too hot, and
I'm
it's awesome, bro.
Together to make little enclosures, like little to-go closures.
That's what I do, yeah.
So I've been thinking about doing that, but like a build your own. So I'll have
cool. That's cool.
They can choose bioactive or wood shavings, and then I have my own water dishes and stuff like that. I got my own hides, and so
throw that up again. What was that? Your water dish?
Yeah, I got water.
Let's get my solo. Let's show these out.
What the frig, bro? Those are dope. You got to DM me where you
like a little hide? Is that like a mini hide or something?
These are both water bowls. The hides, oh shit, I don't have any.
I would love to see a hide.
DM me the company later where you're getting this made, bro, because those are sick.
Yeah, so I'm having water bowls made. I'm having hides made, and so they can choose. I have two different water bowls. I'll have two different hides. They'll get to choose a water bowl, choose a hide, choose the substrate. I choose a fake plant that for enrichment, and then you're ready to rock. Because what do you hear? What do you hear when people want one, but they're like, "Oh, I don't have anything ready for it, though. I don't have an enclosure for it."
Exactly.
Got everything you need.
To do.
When there's no excuse to the husband or the spouse or the wife or whatever, when the person spends 20 on the tickets and then they don't even have to buy anything else. Because usually at a show they'll buy $100 snake, then they got to go to PetSmart and spend $300 more.
Set it up. They don't have nothing ready yet.
It's plug and play. That's how I sell it. Plug and
play. I'll have the
heat
mat with the roller on it, so you can adjust the heat. I'll have a heat gun so you can check it.
Hell yeah, bro. You might need to charge a little bit more than $5 for your ticket.
I'm gonna have the enclosure. They could just buy it outright for $75.
Come on. See, you
hear
that, guys? $75. He gonna give you a hognose and an enclosure, y'all. You can't.
Well, the hognose is a different price. I mean, they're gonna have
right. That's what I'm saying. $75 on top of the hognose, whatever. I'm not saying you're gonna get hot.
And you know what? I'm gonna start doing this now. If you buy a hognose, I'm gonna throw in a free shirt.
See? You hear this?
Oh, throw in the free shirt. You heard it here on Sippin with Serpents, and we're gonna hold him to it, people. Don't forget.
That means I'm gonna be buying me a hognose.
Me too, bro. And I need some babies. I want to start some. I'm serious.
One thing I'm gonna do is make hoodies. You buy 2 hognoses, you get a hoodie.
See? Look at that.
Hell yeah, they're
and a hoodie, guys. Y'all know a hoodie can go for $100 if you go to the mall and go buy it.
Oh, bro, dude. That's why I don't make hoodies on my
dumbest shit anyway.
I'm looking at the hoodies and I'm thinking I don't want to sell a hoodie for more than $50. Right, shit, can I even make a hoodie for less than $50?
Right. You can for sure. Printify.
That's why I don't sell them anymore on Printify, because I feel like I don't want anybody to feel like they're getting charged too much. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. But like every time I go to buy a hoodie, I'm always like, geez. Like, why the fuck?
Happy Father's Day. Yeah, like Vance said, everybody remember Father's Day tomorrow. To all the fathers. I know we're all dads here, so Happy Father's Day, Pete.
Happy Father's Day for sure.
Yeah, from the Hogfather.
But I'm gonna let what I'm gonna do, everybody, is I'm gonna run this little commercial, and I'm gonna jump off for a minute, and I'm gonna let Justin take over some exciting questions that he's got, because he's the hog man. He's fixing to be the hog man, and he needs to know some stuff. So.
Homie is, but I'm definitely asking questions for both of us. So.
Vision Products has developed the slotted stainless steel Versa Rack, the best rack at the best price. The slotted stainless steel Versa Rack allows you to place multiple overhead light and heat sources above your breeding tubs. Couple this with optional Vision heat cables to also provide an underbelly heat source. Each pin of the rack design, making it modular, affordable, and easy to assemble. This design avoids expensive welding, yet maintains rigid strength and durability. Countless hours of design and prototyping led to the perfect end plate design to make the rack strong, easy to assemble, and keep manufacturing and shipping costs low.
We are back. All right, Dale. So I got some pretty good questions, actually. So I know you're a year into this, but I think you could answer a lot more questions and, a lot more stuff than I could actually put to it, because you seem like you're very, down into this. So what I kind of want to know is, you're not doing the brumation. You're pairing for almost a month, which I figured that out, which is pretty cool to know.
I did brumate some. So some I will be brumating, and I think I'm going to do more brumating in the future, just because I do know, or from what I've heard, anyways, is that it does seem to prolong their life. Doing natural things like that, like the brumating and everything like that, they seem to live longer. So I'm gonna.
So you're gonna do like a wine cooler and just have it at that highest temp, and then put them in the brumation, or are you just gonna?
I got 2 of them already.
See? There you go. Come on.
But yeah,
what I've kind of heard is you can do that. You can kind of force them into it in the middle of the year. Is just throw them in there whenever you're pretty much ready and get them that. I don't know what the time period is. Actually, that's what I was going to ask you. Is what's the time period?
So you want to go 3 weeks without feeding them. So that way, and leave them on the heat though. So you want to keep them on heat, because then that way their bodies will still digest and act normal, and it cleanse their body out, so they're not going to have any food sitting in their body. And then you'll put them in the brumation fridge. You want to start around 60 degrees and then start bringing it down, or 65 degrees, 60 degrees, and then bring it down a degree every day. And then from what I've been told is 55, 50 is kind of like the sweet spot that you want to kind of keep them at. And then make sure they have water, and then about 2 to 3 months like that. And then after, when you do take them out, you want to put them in their enclosure with no heat, and kind of bring them up to actually in the brumation fridge. In the brumation fridge, before you take them out, increase a degree every day until you get to about 65.
Pretty much, right. Like I said, acclimate them. You want to bring them back to
65,
right.
And then after they're there, then put them in their enclosure with no heat, and then let them chill there, for maybe a week, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, depending on your own what feels good to you, what you've learned, and everything like that. Whatever you feel comfortable with. Then start to put on the heat, and once you got the heat on and they seem normal, they're acting normal. A couple days, give them some food, see if they take it.
Now, next question. You keep saying heat. So what's the temperature you want to put them at? What is your comfortable temperature?
Around 85-ish to 93 on the hot side, and then just room temperature on the cool side.
Wow, really? Because buddy, we're just getting into this, so I'm keeping them at 82 right now. And 82 is fine. Okay, because I even told him, I was like, I felt like they could be a little bit warmer.
Is it eating normally? Are your snakes eating normally and not going on hunger strikes? Then you're good. then you're good.
Okay, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
as long as they're eating normal, they're digesting and they're pooping, then then you're
Okay.
good.
I mean, I can turn it up. I even told him, I was like, bro, my king snakes are like 89. Like 82 seems kind of a little low to me. He's like, nah, they're that's why I keep them at. They're fine, you know.
Well, so like I'll have my thermostat at a fluctuating temperature, so like between 83 or between 84 and 92, 93, and so it'll warm up to that and then it'll cool back down to that. So it's kind of just fluctuating throughout the day.
Right. It's giving that pulse pretty much.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So now also, what are you incubating the eggs at?
I'm doing 80 right now.
Okay. So you are doing them at a lower temperature for incubating the eggs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. No, I think it's like 80, 82. No, it is 80. 80 degrees is what I have the eggs incubating at right now.
Okay. That's that's really nice.
From what I found out is, and I haven't done it personally, but this is what I've heard, is that when the higher temperature, and then you can actually play with the temperatures and depending on what sex you want the snakes to be. Kind of like geckos work too. Like,
right.
Cooler is going to be one sex, hotter is going to be another sex. Also, hotter temperatures are going to make the eggs go faster and hatch your babies faster.
Same with tortoises. I mean, some turtles and tortoises, the outside of ring will be males or females. The inside will be, all this because the inside is cooler than the outside. Yep. It's kind of crazy because it seems like it's with reptiles, it's a big thing with that temperature to keep, the eggs this, or if you want, which is really great, especially in hognose world, because that's a good market. To me, like that's freaking awesome.
Especially when they double clutch. With them double clutching, you can do one clutch at like all males and then another clutch all females. That would actually
all females. That's what I'm saying. And I was gonna say that's where I'm trying to work my way towards is double clutching. But so you're doing the incubating at 80 degrees. So how long in the incubator should they incubate?
About 6 to 8 weeks.
8 weeks? Okay, that's good to know too. So now, next question. Now we're getting to the double clutching. Is so when they lay the first set of eggs. When should I expect the second set of eggs?
Actually, I would say about another couple months.
Okay, so at least 2 months.
Don't quote me on that. Let's see this one. Oh shit! I erased it. I want to say maybe 2 to 3 months, but I guess every snake is different. So some snakes will hold sperm and then like randomly get pregnant and have eggs.
Right.
And then some might, when you pair them up and they do, they're locked and everything, but then the eggs come out completely unfertile or, just egg follicles come out. So that happened on one of them that is pregnant right now again. Hopefully she's in her second clutch right now, but she looked like it was the first time breeding her, but she had a bunch of these empty egg follicles, like that looked like they were covered in shit that were, in her enclosure. So I'm hoping, that wasn't it, but then that she will double clutch. So
that's like I had a paternal clutch, and a lot of them busted. It wasn't me, it was my buddy, but like a lot of when he was showing me, a lot of them busted, and I was like, holy shit, I didn't realize that. Like I said, we had 2 stuck in her, which we took to the vet and got them removed, and which that was a great thing. She's great now, Put her on antibiotics, giving her a shot and everything. Got extra antibiotics, shot Dr. Colbert. But that was a crazy experience and something different for me to learn, and it was really fucking cool, Yeah. And that was like something that like it kind of blew my mind and just taught me a bunch, It's
one thing I did learn too with the hognoses is that they will eat their eggs.
Yes.
Especially like first time laying eggs. Like they don't know what the hell they just did. They don't know what this is. And going through that process with them and then them just laying all those eggs and then, the smell of it, smelling like the way it does, that's probably going to trigger their instinct to eat it, especially if they're hungry after they completely emptied their bellies. So you do have to be on top of that and watching them when they do lay their eggs. The one that extreme red toffee conda, she did have her first clutch already. They were all slugs. It did look like she had 4 good ones at the end of it, but they were all popped. All 4 of them were pops somehow. and I didn't know if she did it or if they popped on the coming out. But the 4 good ones that she did have were popped. The other 4,
I went to they'll kind of crawl all over the eggs too because they're just so curious and like you kind of saying like they don't know. So I'm wondering, is that a part of it too? Like because they're first time moms, are they just kind of wild all over that clutch and crawling all over it? Is it causing problems too with that as well? You know, that was a thought in my head because
that could definitely help pop it.
definitely,
Because that's like the only little spot they have to lay eggs. Where in the wild they have the whole world is theirs. They can just leave and go wherever, and everything's new to them. But in the wild, they just have the same place to keep going and going and going. And if you're not in there to check on them and pull out those eggs, they're just going to keep rolling around them.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Now, next question is like, so I see you're using the big bins to pair. So, like, I would do for ARS 55. You said for Vision, you were doing the
V70s. Well, I have the VE2s in the racks for, like, the juveniles and the males.
Okay.
And I have the 70 series for the adult females.
For the adult female. So it's the 70 series. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then they, like, you're still using a big one. Now, when you're doing the pairings and all that, are you using a hatch box in there for the female to go into?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm using, like, a big Tupperware and then the lid, cutting out a big hole in the lid. Some people put them on the side. I do the lid just because I don't want the substrate coming out.
Correct.
And then one thing that I've did too with the 70 series tubs is I'm doing the wood shavings because that much dirt's heavy as shit.
Right. So you're doing the wood shavings, actually.
Yeah.
So you're doing the aspen, more or less.
Well, I'm doing the aspen, but I'm inside their lay box. It's a mix of the cocoa core and sand.
Okay, that's cool. But
Yeah,
that's easy. That's actually like
easy. And then like with the cocoa core, you just want to make sure that you can squeeze all the water out of it. Like make sure there's no drippage, and when you put it in there.
Okay. So just humid and moist, more or less, is how you kind of want it.
Humid and moist, not dripping wet.
Correct. That's kind of good to know. See, like these are all good questions that I'm not gonna learn, and yeah, I'm soaking it in right now for sure. So now, once you're getting to the babies, you got the hatchling rack and all that, and you're like with the frogs is how I'm kind of learning. Like, so do you try right off? Like, do you give it time until you try feeding them? How long until you go and you're like, all right, let's try to feed these guys?
So I've only made one baby on my own so far, and the one baby I did make, she was refusing food until about her 11th or 12th day.
Okay.
And so, like, they there's things that'll tell you when to start feeding your baby hognose after a few days, or right after their first shed. I was trying to introduce food to her, and she was just not having it. And then on like it was like the 11th day, she finally latched on and grabbed food. And then after that, like anytime I come or open up her tote, like she's expecting food, like she wants it now.
Hell yeah. Did you get her right off frogs, or did you get her on
frozen thawed mice? I haven't given her anything else besides the frozen thawed mice.
So you did start her out right at the beginning off of mice. So that is possible. It just can be tricky and hard, more or less.
Right. And like I tried different things where I did try putting in tuna fish water. I did try braiding the pinky and getting stuff to ooze out of it.
Right.
But it was just like the timing. As soon as that day hit and she lunged for it, ever since then, anytime now that I open the tote, she's expecting food. And as soon as she sees it, she's lunging and attacking it. And
that's freaking amazing. There's definitely some hognose in there. I watched my buddy, like, you open the bin, they're doing that head roll up, like, already trying to get that mouth open. You're like, whoa!
Yeah, one of the females I have that's pregnant, like, when I open her tote sometimes, like, she's hissing and lunging at the same time, but I'm on that fucking step stool. Like, there was one time I thought I was going to eat shit and die.
They're fragile, though, man. I mean, compared to the ball pythons, like, I have some ball pythons that are nutty, for sure. You open up the bin, they're coming at you. Like, the hognose, they at least give you a little warning. They're like, look, leave me alone. And, I mean, my buddy's got some little babies, and they're like the most
like
dramatic.
bass bait, huh? Don't they look like bass bait?
Yeah. And it kind of like they'll blow up their face and they'll stand up like a little cobra, you know. And you're like, you ain't tough, little guy. You know?
Oh yeah, I got some videos with one of mine. It's a Bub's daddy, and that dude he likes to do the cobra thing. So I did a whole Cobra Kai video with him, and then
that's awesome.
some of them, like especially the babies, they like to throw shit at you. Like they will fling their tails and excrete, and just hope it gets in your eyes.
They're stanky. They will let you know that they do not want you touching them.
Yeah, so like any of those, if I have any like that, I kind of like I know it's coming, and I won't interact with them too much, and then eventually I start like slowly getting them to come around, and then
right
handle them, you know, without getting
Dude, they're great. At the end of the day, I'm literally like, at first I was like, I don't care for them too much, but I am slowly like weaning myself into it, and I'm becoming more intrigued over these animals than my own ball python collection almost sometimes. I was
they're so different than like, you know, the constrictors and how they grab you and hold you and stuff, and that, you know, being used to that, and then having the colibrid that just you're the one gripping it and holding it and letting it crawl around you, because, you know, completely dominating role on that.
And they're all talk, no, they're all, it's like, you know, all bark, no bite, more or less.
Yeah, they're just, yeah, like they have that little bit of spice, but then, you know, no heat. Like, they're all spice with no heat.
Exactly. So
I got a video too where I got one to hissing and shit, and then well, this is what you do with a spicy hognose, and I just picked her up and she just melts in my hands.
That's how they are, though. It's kind of funny. I've had some where you know they kind of like you're holding them and they're acting kind of like that little dramatic for a second, and then they kind of like roll the head and they're almost going to bite the finger. But it's like even when they bite, it's not. It's like, all right, you didn't get that.
They headbutt. They don't even bite. They headbutt. They
headbutt. You know, it's like, all right, come on, get out of here. Now my ball python, it's like, son of a bitch.
That, you know, and I got a ball python, and I'm always like, she's so sweet, but if I'm not looking and I feel her head kind of just touch my arm, I freak out because I'm like, you better not be biting me.
They're great though, ball pythons. I mean, once you learn them too, it's what we call it, the tap on the head. They hate their head touch half the time, so if you just give them a little tap on the head, they're rolling back in that ball, and you got a ball. You know?
I've been bonding with mine. So mine, I only got as a pet because I had never really wanted, you know, a ball python before. And then my buddy, he lives right behind me. He breeds ball pythons, and he was talking about wanting a superconda hognose, and I had an extra albino superconda that I wasn't going to do anything with because I had better stuff. So I'm like, he was like, dude, want to trade? I'm like, all day. What do you got? And he had a world's first. He just bred a world's first. I'm like, I want it. If I'm going to have a pet ball python, it better be a world's first.
Come on.
Yeah.
See? That's sweet.
So the one that I do have, it's pastel, champagne, cinnamon, and Nova.
Oh, you got Nova in there.
That's it's the only, and so it's a world's first. It's the only one that has all four of those showing. So I'm like, hey,
I'm gonna jump in. I hate to do it, but do you have it to see? Can we see it? Can we see
Jose, let's show it. It's snake and tail time now, Dale. Wait a minute, you bring your ass back out here.
Hey, we're trying something new, and I love it.
I got a lot of my questions answered. I ain't gonna lie, like Dale definitely like broke down the questions that I had really that I was trying to figure out. Which that whole year breeding thing, which is really great to know, like because we've been pairing our male, and I'd pair them for like, you know, like a week or two, and then we separate them, and I'm like, all right, we're feeding. But now I know what Dale's telling me. I'm gonna put a male in there. I'm gonna leave them in there for a couple months. I'm gonna try to feed them together and see what we can get out.
Just keep watching them though, like especially when it comes time to like a feeding day, because the females are so much bigger than the males that they will try to eat them.
Correct.
So I was constantly watching them every day, and then as it got closer to feeding time, I was making sure each one of them ate, and especially the female. She had to eat before I was done.
It's so weird because it's like his female wants to like tell him to come on, and he's like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to do this. So he like runs, you know, like a little chicken shit. It's weird because she's like literally telling him come on, and he's like, nah, I ain't ready for this shit.
She usually likes to come out to me. I probably scared her just now, but she's in the far back corner. I can't even pull her out. But what I like to do is I'll leave the doors open. She'll get curious and start coming out, and then I'll put my hand on the ledge, and then she'll use my arm as a branch to come out on me.
Oh, that's
you know
cool.
what I've learned helps when you want it, like my boa. My boa likes to bury itself and like get real deep in the back of its cage. You know what I like to do that really works for me is I stick my head in there and say, "I'm a rat. I'm a rat."
Don't listen to this, Choo-choo.
And it comes out, bro. It's like, oh, it's a rat. Here I come. No, man, I really enjoyed learning about hognose. What is a morph that you're chasing long term? Like, what can you think of that you're wanting to chase long term that you're working with now that might be a longer project for you?
One that I was gonna be doing with the baby that I made now and the baby that I'm gonna be holding back that she's pregnant with right now is I want to make like the pink super yetis. So with them being extreme red and purple line, the next set of clutch that the mom's pregnant with right now, I bred her to my buddy's male, which is also extreme red het for which it was extreme red albino het for exanthic, and with the mom being toffee. So with the triple het babies, I mean their babies might come out albinos actually, but the one that I made so far, it's she's got this cool coloration that's all her own, and she's het for those three different genes: the toffee, exanthic, and albino. And then the next baby that she makes, I'll pair those two together, and hopefully we'll make some really cool like pink toxics, pink what's it called, pink exanthics, pink yetis.
And they're pink. They're pretty like pink. I mean,
They're pinkish because of that extreme red. Like it's like really into their skin, so their skin holds that color too, and then it shows through the scales.
for sure. That's awesome. That's pretty cool, actually. You know, anytime you can get pink on a snake, that's a win. You know, like you wouldn't even imagine what somebody would pay for you for a pink ball python.
Oh, right? Yeah, there isn't any yet, is there?
So I guess that leads me to this question, which is a great segue into it. If you could create a brand new morph of hognose, color, pattern, whatever, combo, whatever, what would it look like? I mean, just imaginary, completely. It doesn't even have to be feasible. Not even possible, you know.
So there's that new morph in ball pythons. That's that camo, right? That's that gray camo. I would do something with a leucistic, with a paradox camo.
Okay. So you like the paradox look and the.
I don't like so much the paradox look, but like if you could get those camo patches on a leucistic hognose, that shit would be dope.
It would be dope.
Can you get a paradox in the colubrids in the
Yes,
there are anything from paradox. Yeah.
They had a whole clutch of leucistics that were all paradoxed.
Really?
Yeah, about a year ago.
Now is it now like with ball pythons? It's kind of pointless because you can't keep retracing it. Can you retrace it in hognoses and keep repeating the process, or no?
I think you can, because it seems like it was like, coming from a certain one that was paradoxed and then kept passing it on. I bet you anything that we don't know this yet, but if you have two paradox leucistics, I wonder if the babies would all be paradox leucistics. Who knows? Who wants to try it? If anyone wants to try it, let us know.
That's what it's all about, right? That's what it's all about, is trying new things and having fun.
Come on.
Who has the money for that shit? Come on, show us.
So you market your animals through Morph Market, you said, social media, of course, like Instagram. What is the best marketing site or tool that you have, whether it be shows, Morph Market, Instagram? What's the best one you found for the hognose?
Instagram, because that was the main thing I started on and was putting out. But holy shit, I just started TikTok. I was like so against TikTok and shit. I didn't want to download it.
I hate it.
I did not want to download it, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just do it just for the snake's sake. And I did, and I'll be damned. There's some cool shit on TikTok that I could like upload video clips and then do this auto cut, and it'll like AI cut those clips into a cool little movie or little reel with music.
Really?
Makes sense. And then,
However, the viewers and getting paid is quicker on TikTok than it is.
Yeah, I've heard that.
if you know how to do TikTok, I'm still learning. I'm just learning how to make the clips cool. Once I have that down, then I'll start learning how to do other shit. Like, they have a TikTok store. You can even have a TikTok store.
Yep.
So,
click the link down below, y'all. That's the clickable link. Go ahead and hit that up.
Give
Give my man the Hogfather a follow for sure, bro.
some cool but yeah. I'll upload clips, and they have these templates that are all preloaded that will like auto cut your videos into the like its own little reel with the music, and it kind of lines up with the beats and everything. And that shit's pretty cool. It makes me look like I know what I'm doing.
It's AI, people. It's AI. It's not Dell. It's AI. So
as he sips the cup, come on, Dell, you gotta get the pinky out when you do it.
Yeah. You'll never know what's in there, folks. Don't even worry about it. So you said TikTok, you're leaning towards that more now, but Instagram's pretty good.
I'm still gonna stay with Instagram, but TikTok seems to have a lot of. You could go viral. You could keep going viral.
It's easier.
Yeah, it's easier. You could have a little shop on there too.
Yeah. Well, can you necessarily? Is it like Facebook where you can't sell live animals, or?
I don't think.
Because I know Facebook, they'll boot you off if you're selling animals.
You get paid to promote the product.
Okay.
See?
That's pretty sweet.
Come on, shirts, and I'll be on TikTok. Come on.
If they have an enclosure business on TikTok, they can sell enclosures with them.
So I have a question that's been bugging me kind of that I've been really excited to ask you. You know, hognoses, they hold their value, right? I mean, like hognoses now is, I think that when people ask me what is a species to get into, I think hognoses is up there because it holds value. Why do you think that is?
Because it's still new and there's not a lot of people with all the genes that are coming out yet. And I have noticed that as the genes do become more popular and a lot more breeders are making them, that the value does drop.
Okay. So, that being said, with the money, where do you see it?
I would say leucistic was a year ago, or actually about a year and a half ago, for a leucistic hognose was about 10 grand.
Now you get it for what, like 1,500, 2K?
I was just about to say between 1 and 2K.
Yep.
Or no, between 2 and 3K. Between 2 and 3.
I would say, yeah. If you get a baby, I would say 1,500. Actually, you're gonna get right now. You're gonna get like
babies are like right on par with the market price. The adults are more expensive.
Exactly.
So that being said, where do you see the hognose breeding hobby in the next 5-10 years? Do you see it going down, or do you see it holding the market, or
is it holding value but still going down? There's still more breeders that still haven't even produced yet that are going to be producing and then joining in on the expos and everything. So I see them just based off of how I've seen every other type of animal and they always end up dropping. Like, you know, how long ago was it that the value of just a regular ball python was $100?
Oh, well, you know, like I tell everybody, like, let's say the albino ball python, when it came to America and it was being bred and sold like a male and female, over $100,000.
Exactly. The thing about like ball pythons and the hognose, it's different.
Yeah,
it is. Ball pythons is. I'm gonna maybe possibly hit this out of 8 eggs, and hognose, I have 20 eggs, so I'm guaranteed gonna hit a few of them.
Yeah. You're gonna hit a couple.
And that's the thing, like. With hognose, that's why I was gonna say, Dale, like why that market dropped from 10K to that is because of that. Because you have 10 people that worked it and are hitting 40 babies and hitting 40 babies and hitting 40 babies. So therefore, you got right there. There's so many in the market. It's retarded off of just 10 people. You know,
right. And so, like knowing that, I would never pay 10 grand for a leucistic.
No, fuck no. You're smart. You know, right?
Yeah. So I saw that, and I'm like, I know what's going to happen to that in the future. I'll hold out.
Yeah.
I got a leucistic now, and I got it as a pet only because it has a bad eye. But you know what? That's all I wanted it for was a pet. You know, and I know that the value is dropping, so I just wanted it as a pet. I got it for $700 on an auction.
Well,
Shit.
see, and that was the question I had earlier that I kind of skipped over, but you kind of brought up a deformity in the animal, so it makes me want to ask it, just so people are aware. I need to be aware too. I don't know shit about hognose. So, what is like some of the genes that may come with like neurological or deformity issues, or
Actually, it's a good question.
So far, there hasn't really been much that have. The
have
only thing that
surface?
comes with the deformity issue or the like the eye would be because of it, like inbreeding.
Inbreeding.
Yeah, so too much inbreeding, you'll see like bug eyes. You'll see like bug eyes, like maybe distorted looking faces, and you can tell that that's been inbred too many times.
Yeah.
See?
Okay.
And
So
there's one that you don't want to do, I think. I can't remember what it is. You don't want to do 1 and 1 together because half the babies always have a problem, I believe. There's one of them that there is with hognose that I believe that you don't want to do too much of 1 on 1. But it comes down at the end of the day of line breeding. So if like you do 1 on 1, you want one from another breeder, not the same
Bloodline. Yeah.
yeah, different bloodline or one that's been through many different generations.
It comes down to line breeding, is what it comes down to. But
Well,
you
is there?
thing too much. I mean, fuck, you can line breed us too much.
Yeah, that's what is there a problem with that? Is there, because of the colors and stuff? I imagine there could be a problem with hognose.
Yes, there is a problem with
that line breed.
Too much in line breeding. That's when you get the weird deformities. You get the bug eyes. You get one that could be just acting crazy for no reason all the time.
Yep.
So, or just acts different than the rest of them. Let me see if this
for somebody wanting to breed, how many years is it for a male and for a female to be sexually active and be able to reproduce?
So with the males don't like about a year-ish. They can be fully ready. I've heard of stories about them right out of the egg. They're ready to go.
Really?
But I think about with a male, like at least about a year, they can do it. With the females, they have to be about 2 years old or over 230 grams, because if they're too young, if they're too small, they have a problem with being egg bound real bad.
Egg bound, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And that was what's crazy with the one that we had. Like, she would never hit that 230, but she was over 2 years, and she still laid a partho clutch and was egg bound. And I was like, what the fuck, but like, I mean, she ate regularly. Like there's other ones that ate with her that took off on weight, and she didn't.
Well, it happens, it happens with anything with ball pipe. I mean, I've had
that was like
pythons be egg bound. It happens,
It just blew my mind because we didn't even pair her, and she still got egg bound, and that's just telling you right there.
Well, and that's another crazy thing. Like ball pythons, they don't have infertile. It's not like, like lizards. A lot of female lizards, you have to be careful because they can get egg bound from non-fertile eggs, but they're still going to produce eggs no matter what. And see, ball pythons don't do that, and I imagine most pythons don't do that.
So I just got rid of a whole bearded dragon clutch, and Alex was like, I see veins. I was like, there's no way they're fertile. And I got rid of them. I come to find out, I've been talking to a bunch of breeders, and they're like, they could have been fertile. She could definitely.
And that's the thing, yeah. So and you're talking about that would be a
damn. I just threw all the eggs away.
Well, would that be a parthenogenic? That would be a virgin birth. Okay.
Yeah, they actually happen with hognoses too. They talk about like even if it looks bad, just keep it like put it in its own little egg too if you want to, or put it off to the side of the other eggs, but it could still hatch.
Yep. My one buddy was like, do you keep your male close to them outside? And I was like, yeah, they could damn near see each other, but they know they're there, And he's like, that would make sense even more. And I was like, wow, really? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, damn, I got rid of them all. I got rid of them all.
I've had female lizards, like iguana. The last iguana I had was a female, and she laid eggs, infertile eggs. They were obviously infertile. I fed them to the tegu, but it was like it was crazy to me because I was like, we don't even have a male iguana. We got her when she came out of the egg. She was this big. You feel me? I was like, and that was my first experience. Then I had a couple crested geckos that I was trying to do. I got them for free. I was trying to just see if I could breed them, and I had fucking infertile eggs from her, and it was crazy, you know. And I never kept any of them because they were obviously infertile.
Well, cresteds would definitely, if they're infertile, they're infertile. You know,
but it was cool to see that can happen, and you know that's a good crazy thing if you really want to think about and like look it up. It's not a conspiracy, but it's like, you know, the virgin birth happens with reptiles, right?
Well,
So
like the morning geckos never even they don't mate at all. It's just all females, and they just keep cloning themselves.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of species of lizard like that for sure. Yeah, there's more. There's definitely more than not. You know, more than you would think for sure.
So I wish I could do that. I have a fucking football team.
He'd have a bunch of little and you know what's crazy about
a whole village just becomes
Thomas is everywhere. Let's go.
What's crazy about parthenogenics
it
it's an exact clone of the mother. You know, and I don't think there's males. There's not any. Well, shit, there might be. I don't know, but
there can be males. There can be males, but they're no good. They don't do anything.
Yeah,
they don't do anything. Right.
They have evolved to be able to reproduce without a male, like some seahorses and stuff. Yeah, pretty wild, man. Evolution is people that say I might be a seahorse. Just
look at his, look at his stash. Yeah, he's got that seahorse stash.
You love it. All the ladies. I did this for all the ladies in the house tonight. I hope you like it.
Check his belly for a pouch to see if he got a pouch in his belly, holding all the babies. Let's push on his belly and see if babies come out.
Tell him, Dale.
Dale, I'm kind of getting lit over here, man. I'm pretty drunk.
Hey, it wouldn't be sipping with serpents without it, man. You know,
yeah,
so
I've
been drinking
Cavassier. We got a Cavassier.
Oh, God. Okay. I'm drinking IPA, but you know, you can hammer it out, bro.
I'm totally down. In case the Cavassier is too manly, I brought a White Claw with vodka.
He ain't drinking no White Claw, Justin. That's your best friend, bro. That's your best friend.
Mule right there.
I almost got the mules. I almost did the fucking copper mule cans. But
so
I gotta tone it down. If I'm gonna drink Cavassier, I better tone it down a bit and drink some White Claw with it.
You need to. You drank enough of that shit in that mug.
I know, right?
You gotta have the White Claw.
Too much drip. I better even things out and throw a White Claw.
Have y'all seen that Instagram post where that dude?
Yeah, see, he already did.
Like, you know, I talked a lot of shit about them White Claws, but goddamn, they'll fuck you up.
Well, you got to get the ones with vodka in it, because if you get that shit with the malt liquor, that shit don't even taste good. It sounds like the way it tastes is like if you could taste TV static and somebody yell a flavor from another room. That's exactly what a White Claw tastes like.
Exactly.
That is hilarious, dude.
And the other ones are like full of sugar. Like if it's not the vodka ones, the other ones are full of sugar, and you feel like shit the next day. You know, like that's my other thing. Is like, I want something I'm gonna drink. I can still wake up the next day. And
it feels like you just went real hard at Pride.
Right. This is my type of guy. Come on,
dude. I'm telling you, dude. I think we've made a new friend tonight, and I hope everybody. And do you have any shows coming up?
I'm going to Cheyenne. Going to Cheyenne next month. I'm going to go to Twin Falls in September. There's one in Salt Lake I'm doing in October. I'm going to see about doing one in Scottsdale around October, September as well.
Let's go. Come on.
Bro, if you're able to get to Daytona this August, hit us up. I
might just go not to vend, but just to go. No.
Oh yeah, no, we're not vending. We're just going to party, bro. We're going to lay on the beach with our speedos and banana hammock.
Dale, I was going to tell you, some of the biggest hognose breeders this year, from what I'm hearing, the ones that kind of like what is it, like Scott's Hogs? There's another one that's up there. as well. Like these guys that like sit back, that've been in the game for a long time, that don't come out the woodwork. From what I'm hearing, this year is gonna be at Daytona this year, and like I'm kind of excited because like this is the only year I'm kind of going to really want to look at hognose and not ball python.
Well, let's get some matching speedos that says I'm here for the balls and hogs.
Bro, if you go, I'll already be in a Speedo. So look,
I got the balls. I'm here to look at hogs.
We'll bring 2 of them, and I'll pay you for it when you get there because we can match. We could be Speedo twins. You know what I'm saying? Dude,
send me the file. I'll make some.
I will say we have an Airbnb, like a whole family, the RWO crew. We got a lot of the Keys Constrictors crew over there, and all of them for sure. The Whiskey Bomb Network, we definitely got some of them coming for sure. So bro, if you want to get down, there's still a couple rooms available or a couple beds available at the Airbnb. You're more than welcome. I'll put you on the list, bro. Come on.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah, let's talk. Let me know how much that.
Yeah, DM for days.
It's literally a compound, bro. Everybody has their beds. There's a pool in the backyard. It's all breeders. Like you're just hanging out with breeders, and we all get drunk.
It's a good way to network and learn.
Yeah, we have, dude. It's a blast, and some big breeders come. Like Wiz will be there. You normally got Austin with Mutation Creation that comes down as well. Like, but you got some good people that come.
You know it's Shoshmo.
Oh yeah,
Shoshmo, dude. Look, you got to call me one day and tell me exactly how to say it, so I don't sound like a dumbass.
It's Soshmos.
Moshmos exotics.
But yeah,
I really enjoyed the show.
You'd have a blast, man. You'd have a fucking blast.
I'm down, man. What is it? What's it gonna be?
August
17th,
okay.
17th, I think.
Shit, yeah. I think
that's the
Hogfather
date.
needs to go back east.
One of the biggest
But
breeder.
yeah, for sure. If not, there's always next year. You know what I mean? We got
True that.
We'll be doing it, I'm sure, every year until we get to be. Well, we probably will be kicking it in a wheelchair, rolling one up, drinking some. You know what I'm saying?
That's gonna stop me from partying.
Yeah, you feel me?
Nick, what did you breed this year? Damn it!
You fucking choochie monster. How do I work this thing? How do I get this thing? Okay, we're live.
Right, that's how it would be. You got some honey packets I can borrow?
Dab it up. Hell yeah, man. Well, I've had a great show, and I really appreciate you coming on. We're not going to take up too much more people's time, but I do have a question that I want to ask you. And I just had a really big brain fart, but what advice do you have for somebody getting into hognose today, like in 2025?
Make sure that you know how long a hognose is going to live for, that you have the time to dedicate to that, because with the hognoses, they live between 20 years ish, and their breeding time is up till about half their life. So about 10 years old they can breed good till about 10. Make sure you have the essentials to make it happy, that you're not going to want to abandon it, and just be cautious of, like, there's a disease going around called cryptosporidum.
Exactly, yes.
In hognoses, so
especially in the Midwest with reptiles, I've heard.
Yes, so you want to be able to quarantine. You want to be able to test. You want to be able to make sure you're not going to infect your whole collection and everything go down the drain. So be aware of that. So like in expos, I'm not going to let people handle the snakes when they are interested in the snakes. I'm not going to pull them out just because the chances could contaminate, the ones that I brought. And I don't want to do that. So
that's good advice. That is really good advice.
This is what needs to happen in all of the expos. Do you guys hear this? I want the audience to fucking hear this, because at the end of the day, this is a big thing. This is actually a big, big thing. A lot of people want to kind of like nudge it on the shoulder or whatever. To me, that is a big thing, because now it's not only affecting hognoses, it's been affecting ball pythons. Nick, you've been shows.
And lizards.
That been shows, and it would
even mites. Mites are
horror stories. Yes, I've heard horror stories.
values.
Oh, it is. It'll take your whole collection out, bro. And I've heard my buddy's been worried about it with his crested geckos. I mean, it's a big thing, and people don't. And some animals can live with it forever, and it never affect them. Some of them take it like the flu. Some people die from the flu. Some people don't. They just get really sick and shitty. So it is definitely a thing, and it is definitely a thing in the Midwest.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but most of the and I've been researching it. I've been wanting to talk about it. I think I might bring it up on the next RWO show this coming Thursday because it does need to be addressed and people need to know about it. And I'm really glad you brought that up. That was very good advice.
Well, yeah, people want to touch it, and as a sales, trying to do sales, putting it in their hands is a big thing for sales. But being able to pull back and be like, no, this is why. I don't want you to infect my shit, and I don't want you to pass that around and hold that.
I don't want you to walk around like 10 other tables and hold 5 other snakes. I don't want you to come over here holding my snake.
Exactly. And like when they come up and say, "But that person let me handle those snakes," I'm like, more reason for you not to touch this shit.
You see what Carl said? Everybody, read that. Look that up for sure. That's not bad things to have.
Yes, that is actually really good shit to have. Actually, it's really good
for sure.
So,
especially if you're going and buying animals from people you don't necessarily know on a whim, or especially at a show.
Honestly, it's not just. You want my honest opinion? It's not just somebody walking to somebody else's table, because at the end of the day, like that 5 foot, 10 foot rule, like I think like when we go set up vending tables, I know some people that set up vending tables. They go to sleep that night with their shit on a table.
Left in the venue. Yeah.
Right. And left it in the venue with 20 million other snakes.
For sure.
Do you think shit isn't transferable? You're wrong. Like that to me, like that could be pleasable and can very happen,
And that goes along with what Dale said about the mites. You always need to do every precaution. If you're doing shows, you need to do every precautionary thing. Like you have mite spray. You need to spray that every snake before you bring it back. Put it back in that bag to bring it home. Spray it with that mite spray, dude. It might not have mites, but it might.
What I would like to see at the venues that nobody does, I haven't seen it or heard about it at all, is like having somebody like inspect to make sure nobody's bringing mites into the show.
Well, and that's a good point. They do that. I will say, like every show I've done, Repticon, the Zoom Edge, any of the shows, the Show Me Snakes, they do it, but they do it undercover, bro. Like there are people that they pay that go around the show and make sure that the health and the quality is there. Like if you have them in a deli cup too small, they're not going to tell you right then. They're going to look. It's usually the people that are coming up looking, not talking. And they'll just look at it and then they'll keep walking. That's the inspectors. But you're not going to know. And that's true. And I will tell you that is true. Like I've honestly, and we're all human. I've made mistakes throughout this breeding process that I've been doing. And I've had snakes in too small of deli cups. And, the show will come up to me, hey man, we don't allow that. You have to have them in a bigger container. So I would go buy a bigger container from the supplier at the show, whoever's selling big feeding containers, and I would put them in there. But there are people definitely that are looking at that shit, and they will bust you. Like they will.
I don't know if you guys experience this, but me and Stan have, and like, bro, there's been tables we walk to, and you can smell them from a mile away. Like smell them.
Well, I've never heard of anybody doing it by smell. But the cleanliness is definitely a checklist point, like.
No, there's some breeders and you can't sit there and be like, oh, those snakes pooped in the bin or pooped in their tub. No,
it's just nasty, bro.
It's just nasty. It's just nasty.
And I hate to laugh because it's really not good for the animal or the people, but
you can tell.
It's like, dude, come on, man, get real. Like, bro, like you are gonna go to a show and it stinks like that. Like, what the fuck are you thinking?
Right.
To me, it is laughable. Look, $60 plus shipping for the panel test. That's more than worth it, everybody. Look that up. Again, that's the RAL swabs.
Right. And I mean, these, especially hognoses, that's quite an investment.
Oh, yeah. And just like you said, when you got money in this, you want to take those precautionary things and those steps to make sure, like even hand sanitizer, like put hand sanitizer at your table. You might not even show snakes, but it's there. You feel me? Like they need to use it. So, but hell yeah, dude. Well, I have enjoyed this show. And Justin, who you talking to over there?
Yeah,
Give me
who
your- who you talking to? Show me who you're talking to. I demand.
Show yourself. Show yourself.
I demand. I know who it is. I already know.
Make him take a shot.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Hey. Well, this has been a great show, and I have to give a couple shout outs really quick. I just want to say don't forget to go to www.visionproducts.us for all your snake, rack, and caging needs. And don't forget to also go to Custom Aquariums if you do the fishes, aquatics. They got thump pumps, custom aquariums to whatever size or standard you need. You can go to Custom Cages if you like to keep your reptiles or birds, or if you have dogs. I'm pretty sure they sell dog kennels. They have it all. So go check them out as well at customcages.com. Justin's over there playing with something. Justin, you got some last words for everybody tonight? Yeah, we know.
Eat your green tea and have a great night. And thanks all everybody in the chats for coming out here. And Dale, I fucking love your hognose and keep doing what you're doing. And the Godfather is what's up. I want some fucking t-shirts. So
yeah, I got some t-shirts for you guys. Don't trip.
I'm gonna be hitting you up when I need any of my hognose information.
Me too, dude.
Yeah, I went nuts on. I researched so much shit. I'm like, why did I don't remember any of this shit from high school. What the
hell? Exactly. Like when you find something that you're interested in, you retain that information for sure. But Dale, you got anything you want to plug? You want to plug your Instagram or your TikTok or anything?
The Hogfather 801. It's on Instagram. I'm on Snapchat, but it's just my personal shit. TikTok, and follow me. You can DM me, ask me any questions, hit me up about whatever, and I'll reply. I live on my phone pretty much, so like every little thing I see, I reply. So, hit me up with any questions. You can find me. You can ask me whatever. Find out where I'm going to be at. Find out my morph market. I'll be more involved on my morph market once I start kicking out a bunch more babies here.
Come on.
Hell yeah.
So,
well, hell yeah, everybody. Go give him a follow, man, on all the platforms. He's a really cool guy, as you've seen tonight. He's got some beautiful animals. And I just want to say thanks to the chat, man. This wouldn't be cool without y'all. I want to say thanks to my sponsor, Vision. Mark, you're an awesome dude, and I really appreciate you doing this with me. And Justin, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking over tonight. I hope y'all like the way that we're going to do the show from now on. I think we're going to keep doing it like that and let Justin ask some of his questions because he
don't shut up, guys. You all
got and sometimes
everybody knows.
That's all I kept thinking. I wish you here.
It's the booze, man. If I'm straight not drinking, I'm a quiet son.
I told him he's got to get my spot.
We're going to do that. And everybody's been asking me because they love your beautiful face. They tell me that you are just so adorable, and they want to see more of you. So everybody, you're gonna.
Are you talking to me right now?
I got a big ass nose, though. I'll tell you, I got
a big ass nose, but a little ass head. And I want to say, make sure everybody go to LMK Reptiles Ken at YouTube and follow him and hit the bell if you're not already, because he does his LMK show every Tuesday night, and it's very funny and awesome. Make sure you go to the RWO show. You have to follow everybody on the RWO. I'm sorry for that, but it's just something you have to do. Go ahead and hit that bell so you don't miss who's it's going to be on that week on YouTube. We do that every Thursday. And make sure you go to the Thunderdome on Blue Zombie Morphs on Saturday, right before the Sippin show. If you're here, you're already hitting the button. Show them, Justin. Just do it, bro. Just do it. Don't be a chick. That's my girl right there. What's up?
Don't turn the camera.
You look great. Shut up. Well, with
They
that,
took off running now.
Christina
We'll be
took
back.
the show, man. Once she comes on, the show's gone, man. So I want to thank the RWO family. This has been a RWO broadcasting, and I hope y'all have a great night. And remember, drive safely and drink responsibly, my We always